And you served post, you never served when there wasn't any term limits.
I've always had term limits.
And some of the criticism of the term limits is that it gives lobbyists too much power, that the lobbyists know too much. They have the more institutional knowledge rather than senior legislators. What is your interaction with lobbyists? And I'm going to say this with the caveat that we sort of have a sneering time when we say lobbyists, when there are lobbyists for foster care kids and there are lobbyists for a better environment, a cleaner environment, climate crisis. Mm-hmm. Sort of the lobbyists that seem to get in the news are the ones that are advocating for corporations. And that it has a negative connotation, but there are lobbyists down there that are fighting really good fights. Tell us about your interaction with lobbyists and how you interact.
There are certain lobbyists who I've known because of my time in the community. So that, for instance, my district has Ford Motor Company's manufacturing facility in the district. So the Local 249 is the union that's there. They have close to 7,000 active members in that union. And Ford Management, and they have a lobbyist for their industry as well. So Ford Motor Company and the union both have lobbyists, and I know them personally. I knew them personally before I got elected, and I regard the lobbyist for the union especially as a personal friend of mine in terms of being able to sit and talk with them about issues, about personal matters. I mean, if they're a personal friend to you, then that was a friend before you were elected, that relationship doesn't ever change. There are other lobbyists that I did not know at all, had no idea that such an industry would even have a lobbyist when I got to Jeff City, and was surprised to find that, as you said, there are lobbyists for virtually everything that there's a law about. And in my experience, occasionally they'll have information that's good, and I will take the information and read it, and use that as a basis to go and start educating myself on the issue on my own, so that if a bill comes up, they'll have a packet, papers, documents, testimony, things like that, and they'll give that to a legislator. And it's incumbent upon us as legislators to do our job and to read what they've offered us, and then to use that as a basis for doing our own further research. And in doing that, occasionally you find that what they've offered you is not reliable, or you find that what they've offered you is reliable. And as you go through that process, you begin to understand, just like in any other profession, that there are certain lobbyists that are trustworthy people that are not going to lead you astray. And just like being a lawyer, there are certain lobbyists that might present their information in a way that's far more beneficial to them than what would be fair. And you begin to be skeptical of the information that they present to you. And those, just like lawyers, those lobbyists often don't last long. Because so much of it's built on personal relationships, I will take the information that they give me and I will read it, but I will not use it as the sole basis for making my decision. It's never something that I rely on exclusively. Being the ranking member on the Insurance Policy Committee, for instance, I've developed a very good relationship with the Missouri Insurance Coalition lobbyist. I speak with them about a lot of issues, and we agree on very few of them. But that doesn't mean that I won't listen to what he has to say and understand that he has a perspective and he has a client, so to speak, that he has to advocate for. I have my constituents that I have to advocate for and make a decision that I think is in the best interest of the people of the state of Missouri. That doesn't necessarily mean that there aren't legislators who are less diligent in the bills that they file or in the information that they believe from lobbyists. And so there has been an increase in the influence of lobbyists in Jefferson City and the influence that they've been able to get bills passed or certain issue items addressed. I think that by and large, term limits are a good thing for legislators because it requires that we go back home and live with the laws that we've made. In a lot of cases, it prevents so-called career politicians from staying there and becoming too complacent. However, having said that, it's important that people remember that there are term limits, and that when they make their selection for their preferred candidate when they go to vote, that they're making that selection based upon the candidate that they think has the most integrity and the most ability to stand firm for what they believe in the face of what a lobbyist might try to persuade them to do one way or the other.